Hi, welcome to What's Cooking with Rochelle, and today we're going to make a basic pasta. We're going to make the dough, and then we are going to finish it in a lemon herb butter sauce. But the main important part I'm really trying to show you today is the dough. So I am making the dough today with half all-purpose and half semolina. If you don't have semolina, use all-purpose for all of it. Okay, so we have 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of semolina. I also have 3 eggs. We're going to go ahead and crack those eggs in here. And you can use whatever kind of eggs you want. As you can see, I had some brown eggs and some white eggs left. But it doesn't matter. Now, if you want it a little richer, you could add a couple more egg yolks only, not the whites. And to this, we need to add a little salt. So forgive me. We're going to add about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of salt, and to this we're going to add a tablespoon of oil. This is olive oil. Now you can make this without a mixer. A lot of the times I will make it on a mat and you just knead it with your hands. So all we have to do now is knead this for 8 to 10 minutes until it comes together into a nice shiny ball. And we're going to let the machine do all the work, as usual, right? Why do the hard work if you don't have to? Okay, get this guy up and rocking and rolling. You're going to put it on a medium speed. I'm going to go get everything else ready so that we can roll the pasta once it's rested. But this is what's going to happen for now. See you in a minute. All right, so it has been 8 minutes. Whoops. Turn it the wrong way. We're going to take it out. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see it's all together. It's a nice dough. We're just going to make a nice little happy ball out of it. Just like so. And we are going to wrap this in some foil and let it rest for 10 minutes to let the gluten relax, and then we're going to roll it out. All right, our dough's being rested, so we're going to go ahead and get it rolled out. So that's the next step. So you can do this with one of the ones that does sit and attach to your counter, although I definitely like this much better. It's much easier. I'm going to turn this like this so you guys can see it hopefully coming down. I'm not that tall, so please forgive me. So the first step with making the pasta after the dough is rested is to get it, like I said, rolled out. So we're going to stretch out this mat. We have extra flour because we're going to want to keep it from sticking to itself. So take a little bit out. We're going to make some little size. That looks lovely. Okay, we're going to turn it on low. And we are going to just squish it out and then put it through the machine. Okay, you're going to fold it in half and then put it through again. And you can see how that's making it. So we're going to do this for every single one of these before we move on and change the setting. It'll save time that way. You don't have to worry about them being beautiful and exact. Unless that's your thing. And you can see all the dough I grabbed wasn't all the exact same size, but that is about how much you want. You don't want to get too much because if you have too much, it'll get way too long later, you'll see. And you can see I'm not putting tons of flour. We just want just a little bit of flour on these guys. And you can see by putting it through twice how it really does even it out. Makes it a little bit more put together. Okay, so now that we've got the first layer done with all of these, we are going to move on and change the setting to number 2. And then it doesn't matter which one you start with. We're going to do the same thing on number 2, meaning you're going to fold it in half and put it through again. Just work in a circle around your mat. I mean, you can usually tell which ones have and haven't been right now, but once they get a little bit thinner, it will be harder to tell. So you can see our active time with making homemade pasta really hasn't been that much, guys. I mean, we did let it rest for a few minutes, but we're letting the machine do all the work. We're literally just standing here. And it tastes oh so much better than the store-bought stuff. If you've never had homemade pasta before, you're in for a treat. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay. Last one. Okay, we're going to change our setting 1 more notch to number 3. Now, you can end as thick as you want. Just know that the thicker your pasta is, the longer it will take to cook. And it's obviously going to be a different feel. I'm making fettuccine today, so we're going to finish on 5. If you were doing a spaghetti, you might want to go to a 6 or a 7. Now, the rest of these, you only go through 1 time, not twice. So it goes a lot faster. The first 2, we do that just to kind of make it more intact, the pasta, to each other. And you can tell that one's going to be super long by the time we're done. Now this will feed easily 4 people to 6 people, and if you're having an appetizer or even an appetizer and a salad, it'll definitely feed maybe 8 people. And then of course you can double the recipe if needed, if you're feeding that many people. Obviously it doesn't really add much to the time to make more, and you can refrigerate the dough. Before we rolled it out, that ball could have been refrigerated for a few days in the refrigerator. And obviously, once it's dried, You can keep it for a couple of weeks, fresh pasta, dried, shelf on the out in the pantry, just like any other pasta. But it does have to be dried completely. Now, obviously, if you stopped right here, I could put that one in a little crooked. You could have pasta sheets for lasagna, and you could dry them in the sheets. If you wanted to make them exact, you could make perfect shapes. There are attachments you can buy too for a lot of the machines now to make all kinds of different shapes rather than just long ones. So if you really find you love making pasta, that might be something you want to venture into. Okay, we got one more notch. These are all on number 4 right now. And I will show you, I think you can see how thick that is. And we're going to go down one more to 5. So just one more time through for all of them. And then we'll move on to the last step. All right, guys. So, I'm making fettuccine, like I said, which is a wider cut noodle. If you wanted to do spaghetti, you could do it at this thickness, or you could make it one more thinner, like I said. That's up to you. Let me screw this in here. Okay, and then you're just going to put it on low again. Watch how easy. We go straight down. Put your hand underneath to catch the noodles. And then you're going to want to flour them a little bit. So just put just a little bit of flour in them. Here's one batch of noodles. Let's do this guy next. Just 2. And the reason we're putting a little flour on is so that they don't stick as they're drying. You know, your eggs are never exact, so if your pasta's too dry, add just a touch of water or oil. If it's too wet, add just a little bit more flour. But this batch actually came out really great. 2 more to go. Last one. This big guy. Sorry. Now, if you had a pasta drying rack, you obviously could hang them on that. But here they are. Now, so from this step, we could either leave them like this to dry and then store them, like I said, for up to a couple of weeks dry. But we're actually gonna cook our pasta now. Like I told you, we're gonna make a lemon herb butter sauce today for the pasta. And fresh pasta like this does not take nearly as long to cook, even if it was already dried. So this pasta will literally take about 3-4 minutes in the water. That's it. So I'm going to highly salt some water. So you want to use probably a tablespoon of salt for 4 quarts of water. And then once that's at a boil, we're going to go ahead and add our pasta and make our sauce. I'll see you in a few. All right, so while we're waiting for the water to boil, the salted water, I forgot to tell you to don't use table salt. You want to use coarser salt, so either a kosher salt or a sea salt, a coarse salt. We're going to get everything ready for the sauce. So for the sauce, I've squeezed here 1 good-sized lemon or 2 smaller lemons, just the juice. We've got about a third a cup to a half a cup of oil, 4 tablespoons of butter, and we have about a half a cup of white wine. The herbs I've chosen today, just because this is what I had in my house fresh, are parsley, mint, and basil. Now, you could easily use rosemary, thyme. You could use any herb that you prefer. Dill, if you want dill, you could use a dill. And then we're just going to do a quick rough chop. They don't have to be separated. I separated them just to show you that I had different ones in kind of the amount that I chose. So parsley, I have a little more of than the mint. Mint is a strong herb, so I did at least 2 to 1. I mean, if you love mint, hey, go for it. If you hate it, then don't add it at all. Okay, so we're going to put those together now because they do not need to be separated. And this is our basil. And you can see I'm not trying to kill it, I'm just trying to get it into smaller, but be careful, you don't want to bruise it. Basil bruises easier than the other 2 herbs, that's for sure. Okay. All right, let's see how our water's coming along now that we've got all our ingredients for the sauce. And we can turn our skillet on and get our oil and butter hot and together. So the water's not quite ready, but we're going to get started with the sauce. Now, once the oil and butter are hot and melted, we're going to do a wine reduction. So we're not looking for a wine taste. We want to get rid of that, but it'll add a depth of flavor that you're not going to have without it. And I think that we're good to start putting some pasta in. You're going to want to cook about half of it in a batch. Fresh pasta will sink to the bottom, and that's okay. It'll rise, whoops, it'll rise once it's done. And our butter's not quite melted yet. We definitely want to put a little bit of a browning on the butter before we add the wine. Now, if you didn't want this kind of sauce, you could do a traditional tomato sauce. You could do Alfredo sauce, a vodka sauce. You could do a spicy tomato, whatever kind of sauce you prefer. You know, do it so that you and your family are happy. So you can see it's starting to get just a little bit of color. By that I mean it's turning a little browner, not as straw yellow. And that's because the butter is caramelizing a little bit there. So we're going to add the wine and let that reduce. You want it to reduce by half. So kind of just gauge how much liquid is there. And as the liquid dissipates, then you should be good to go. After that, we're going to add the lemon juice. And then, of course, we're going to add the herbs at the very end. Okay, so that's looking pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and add the lemon juice. And we just want that to get bubbly and hot. We're going to start adding in our pasta. And your water should still be boiling at a light boil. You don't want a roiling boil. It will break the soft, fresh pasta noodles. We're going to turn our sauce down. And as soon as I get the rest of these out of here, we're going to move on to the second batch. Looks like we're good. So grab the rest of your noodles. Put them in the water. This looks wonderful. We're saving room for the other ones to get in here. So like I said, some other options for your noodles versus just plain. You could do a lemon flavored noodle as well. You could do basil, spinach. You can do spicy, like make a spicy paste and add it into the dough when you're mixing it. So there's many options. I've made cilantro pasta before too, which is kind of a neat twist. So any herb, if you really love it, you can add it literally into the dough and make the pasta that flavor. You could do beet, you could do sweet potato, you could do butternut squash, you name it, you can probably do it. So if you'd like some creative ideas, don't forget you can message me and or send a comment and I will respond and give you some options, or if you want a specific recipe, I could do that too. Okay, I think we've got it. Let's give it a quick toss, add the herbs, and we can go ahead and plate it. So this is fresh pasta in a lemon herb sauce, and we are going to go ahead and get this plated up and get to eat. It's about time, right? See you in a second. All right, now for the coup d'etat, we get to eat. Now, I did finish mine when I plated it with some fresh Parmesan and some fresh cracked pepper. If it needs more salt, I usually, when I serve fresh pasta, put the salt and pepper grinders on the table. That way everybody gets it how they want it. But let's dig in and see how we did. That is good. Well, finish my food first. Thanks for watching another great episode of What's Cooking with Rochelle. Hope you appreciate homemade fresh pasta. Use whatever sauce you want. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.